here's the exercise we did this morning. Rich, I think this will help a lot of people. I will put the link in the video in the description of some of the other videos I've done where we talked about the psoas. Psoas is spelled first with a P, P-S-O-A-S. The psoas muscles that come from the legs to the spine or from the spine to the legs. It's the deepest core muscle, very large abdominal muscle. And I won't talk a lot about that today because I've explained that quite a bit in the past. And you can also look it up and see exactly where it is. What I do want to reiterate is that when we use the spinal muscles, the muscles closest to the core, closest to the spine, the deep skeletal muscles, we don't necessarily feel those muscles, but we feel the result of them. So in my imagination, because I know where the muscle is, I know the structure, and I know how it works, when I move my spine through the activation of the psoas, the muscles I actually can feel will fire in automatically. So we tend to be able to feel the more superficial muscles. So the abdominal muscles that are on the surface, we can feel them. A lot of times when we're doing exercises to firm up those muscles, we may not be activating the deep core. So that's done through awareness. If I understand about the psoas and I think that way, it tends to activate. And then all the other muscles will join in and they'll work with it. So I just want to bring that out so that you understand that. So I don't say that I can actually feel my psoas per se, but I know it's working. So I'm using that big deep muscle to engage my core, not in a way to just make it tight, but to create direction through it. So I'm creating a direction through my lower spine. The psoas is connected all the way up to the bottom of the rib cage, the 12th vertebrae. So all of the lumbar spine, all of those vertebrae are connected with this psoas muscle. So whenever you're rising, you're going to engage it in some fashion, and especially when you're moving backward, then you need to invite your partner to come forward, or you need to invite your partner to go outside partner. That's where we really feel this working a lot. So the exercise that we did today, and we'll do this with the chair so you have a little support, and the subject came up about getting the feet under control. And a lot of people think they need to get their ankles stronger. Now sometimes that's the case, but usually in order to control the ankles, we need particularly the outside of the shin here to be working and to be strong and resilient, and the leg muscles and so on. But a lot of it is how we use the core, because the way we use the core and the psoas will direct the legs, and this will organize the whole body in the trunk. So if I'm standing with my right hand on the chair, then what we did today is to use the standing leg. I'm going to elevate, right? We'll go on to releve, lift, and swing my leg forward. So I'm swinging my left leg against my right hip. And I'm engaging the psoas up and back, as if there's a string right here going up on the diagonal to the back. And at the same time, I'm going to use my free arm outside. So now I can feel across my body, I can feel this stretch, and I can feel it all the way around to the back. Now I'm swinging my leg all the way up right now so that you can see it. You don't have to lift it into a batma like that. But that would be the same action at the ballet bar that we would want to feel the way the trunk is working with the leg. So what I'm wanting you to feel there is the head, the spine, the opening of the arm, because this left arm has a tendency to wander. Now if we're talking about the man's part, you want to feel this activation across the back in opposition to the leg moving forward, and my head over to the left. So now actually, if I just change the shape of this hand and put a little bit more curve on it, I'm in the lady's position of a wing, of step 3 of the wing. So I've used my tummy muscle slightly back in order to bring my leg forward, and rotating the right hip forward and the neck strongly to the left. Now for the man, if I just bring my head here I'm in the position, let's say if I'm dancing the 4 feathers, this would be the last step of the second feather, where I'm stepping outside partner. I'll have my body organized like that, or the lady's wing. Now from there, we're going to try going backwards. So I'm going to use the standing hip again, send the hip back, send the psoas up and back, and this should activate now my left leg. There. Now my head wants to go over to this side, so I'm going to use an opposition and spiral. If I'm doing the man's, let's say, back feather or weave, so I'll feel my body turning under my head, and I'll feel my left arm working against the right arm. You see the curve in the body. Now having done that, having created my foot position by using my core, my foot will go neatly into the proper position. The problem is we take steps without using our body properly to place them there. So once again, moving that hip up and back, moving the psoas back, twisting. At first when I do it, probably my head will go along too, then I'll put the head into the counter spiral, and I'll put the opposition there. Now if I put my feet down and roll through my heels, and put my arm here and my head more extreme, I'm in the lady's feather, where my partner is outside partners. You can see that right hip working back, the psoas muscle working up and back. So it's a great exercise for training, and it's also very practical because we're in these positions a lot. So once you can feel the action going backward, the action going forward, then you can start swinging from one to the other. So then if I move the chair to the other side, I'll do exactly the same thing. So now I'm lifting from my left leg, sending my right leg forward. And here I'm letting the body again turn under the head. And if you just put the arm out into second, we have a very lovely position there for the man's feather step. This would also be for the lady, the outside partner step of the weave. Or it would be the lady's part of the back feather. So then if I go to the other direction, now I'm standing on my left foot, swinging my hip up and back. When I first do that, my head wants to turn with the body. But now I'm going to put my head back into the neutral position for now. So depending what figure we're doing, right, we may shape towards the lady with the head. We may have the head forward, or we may allow the head to turn. But we're getting, again, this feeling of this area twisting and pulling up and back. There. Take the arms out into the lady's position or the man's position. So if I'm in this position with my left foot and I allow my head to stay here, as the man, I'm actually in the third step of the wave in Foxtrot. Now I could find lots of other patterns. These are just a few examples. I just wanted you to see the exercise. So I'm going to do this sideways. Move the chair over here and stand on the left foot. Again, I'm activating through my standing leg and through the core. Go forward. Maybe here you press your heel down and then lift as you go back. Press the heel down, lift as you go forward. So as you're practicing this, maybe don't worry about your head position because that will depend on the figure we're doing. But just get the sense of working off of the standing leg, having the free leg organized with the standing leg and organized with the trunk. Let's move the chair over here. Standing on the right leg, activating through the center, and the standing leg, pressing up, pressing down, pressing up and pressing down. Now, of course, if I was doing an action in tango, I would not have that rise, but let's say the third step of the lady outside on a reverse turn. And I would put myself in that same position, using the standing leg and hip and psoas to create the backward step, rather than just sticking my leg out. You use the standing leg, you use your core, and you move into the outside partner step. Again, my body is turned under my head. There. So we can discuss more practical aspects, but this will train your body and get you organized. We talked a little bit about that today, about one of the comments I often make if I have a chance to give a critique when I'm judging, and I'll say that the body needs to be organized, or the trunk and the legs need to be organized. So this is a way to practice doing that and then have a practical application of it. So maybe we'll take a look at the feet. I don't think you can see my feet while I'm doing this. The only reason, because I want you to see the extension of the legs and feet coming from the core movement. Now you won't be able to see my head, but I'm just going to demonstrate how I'm using my feet. So if I'm in a rise action, say I'm doing a foxtrot, and I'm on my 4 feathers, or I'm doing the third step of the lady's wing, as I activate my standing leg and my core, right, it would also make sure that my ankle is working, so that I have an artistic use of the feet and can feel the feet as I'm working. So the thing that I've added to that is the use of the point, the caressing of the floor with the foot. But my leg will move into position if I've trained my legs to be always coming together, again, by using my weight and my spine to gather my weight together. My legs have been trained to come together and not to move all over the place. So the legs will move into proper position, the feet will move into line. And I'm already with my, let's say, twist, or my proper CBM, or activation. I've got the muscles working to support the feet. I'm not expecting the little muscles around my ankle to do all the work that needs to be done from the upper body and the bigger muscles. So there. Then on this exercise, I'm going to press down, let my feet close, and press up again. And again, I'm going to extend the ankle and point back. And then feel as the heel lowers and rises that I'm organizing the brushing of my leg through with the rise. Now, of course, once again, if I'm dancing tango, I will not have that rise. Now from the other side, so if I'm pressing up, I'm going to extend that ankle. My leg and foot will move into the proper position. Press down, press up. Now if I want to just work on this, I could put both hands on the chair and not worry right now about my head or having a free arm until you get your balance. But I'm feeling my foot work the way we would do a tendu in ballet and extending. So this is a great exercise for getting the entire body activated, all the way from the toes to the fingers to the head.